Hi guys, hi Andre, hi Luke.
Hello,
It's good to be here.
The same here.
glad to be here again.
It's another AMA session to talk about all the amazing things that we are doing within our space. So let's do it, guys. That's what we're here for. So usually,
Definitely.
what we do is that we ask the people within the audience to drop their country where they're joining us from. As a way of engaging with our audience in both ecosystem, people from Octavia and people from that of Open Fabric AR. So let us know in the comment section where you're joining us from. We'll give it like 59 seconds to get started. Just drop a country flag. We got somebody from the US. Drop us a country flag. Let us know where you're joining us from. Somebody's here from Disco. Okay, that's nice. It's an entire
That's
country.
it. Yeah,
TV AI is in the house. Again, let us know in the comment section where you're joining us from. Just drop a country flag and let's do this together. Let's build something hard together.
Should start to see more people flood in over the next couple of minutes.
Yeah. Okay, guys. It's 15 seconds to go. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe we can just start and people will
Yeah.
continue. Yeah.
So, welcome back to another AMA session. And this time around, we have with us Luke Martinez, and he's from Octavia. So, usually, what we do is that we ask our community about some of the partnerships that we have had and ask them what do they want us to talk about. And usually, we send out survey to the community asking them to give us their feedback and let us know what they want to hear from us. And this time around, based on the survey result, we have one bunch of different results, but they choose Octavia. They want to know more about our partnership and how does partnering up with Octavia benefit both ecosystem. And today's session is on enhancing crypto AI assistant through a planetary network skill network. And what does that mean for you? It means that we're going to talk more about AI system from Octavia side and how our collaboration create solution to some of the pressing issue within the both ecosystem. So usually what we do is that we divide our AMA session into two segments. The first segment is that we talked about the pre-selected question that we have from both community. We post them to the speakers to give us their take on it. And the last segment, which is the second, we take questions from the audience and allow people to engage with our community as a way of engagement. So with that being said, my name is Jonathan Marvin Clark, as you can see, and I'm joining from Open Fabric AR. Let's jump straight into our first question. And this is more like a dialogue where we share input from both sides. So anyone can go first, either Andre or Luke. You guys, anyone can go first. So let's talk about the partnership. This is the most important thing that people want to know about. How did the partnership between Octavia and Open Fabric AI come about, and what motivated both companies to join forces in crypto AI assistant space?
Yeah, so we're always on the lookout for ways we can improve our product and our offerings to customers, and also how can we scale better, right? And there's an opportunity when it comes to Open Fabric to deploy our models and deploy our well, not infrastructure, but deploy onto their decentralized infrastructure to allow us to scale more rapidly. When people use Octavia, we see Octavia's usage happen in spikes. So being able to utilize Open Fabric, and we'll talk about this more later, will allow us to sort of even out those spikes and provide like a consistently fast user experience across time.
Nice. That's a very good one. Andrew, let's hear for you. What inspired this partnership? Tell us something.
Yeah, so I guess Octavia is the perfect example of the new wave of companies who are building on top of decentralized AI. So they're building a very powerful assistant that can be used by people in this case for crypto and all these kind of operation. I guess Luke can give a very insightful description of that. But the main thing is that we see Octavia as a partner, as an early early new type of companies, because in a way what we're seeing is a new type of company building new type of products on top of AI, and also utilizing decentralization to scale up, and also has Luke has mentioned to smoothen the pipes, because when you're creating a new product, you will have a very unbalanced way of utilizing your resources. So a decentralized network can offer a very powerful way for application to utilize the planetary scale networks resources in a more balanced and in a more efficient way.
Yeah, speaking of the planetary scale network and creating bridges between both people and Altiva built on top of protocol, that's a very interesting one. But I believe that most partnership comes with some reason behind that, and I think the people in the audience and even me would love to know more about that. So let's talk about the collaboration between companies. Often brings unique benefits. Could you share specific ways in which the partnership enhances the capabilities and offerings of both Octavia and Open Fabric AI?
Yeah, so this partnership really means that okay, so I'll just bring it back a little bit. When you want to deploy a model, basically you need to load that model into memory. And some of these models are quite large. We're talking gigabytes in size. And you have to load them into not just RAM, but into something called VRAM on a video card. So some of these models that we'll be accessing and using through Octavia might not always be in use. Like they might, I'll give you an example. When somebody requests that Octavia draw them an image to generate an NFT or to generate an image for like a drawing, that's using the Stable Diffusion model. And that model, it's a couple of gigabytes large. And well, having a GPU that's dedicated to that might not make sense for us, but we can tap into Open Fabric and the Planetary-Scale network to really have that always available to us whenever we need it, spike and then ramp up the usage whenever it needs to be ramped up, and not have to always dedicate resources to that. So it makes sense to us, and that's why we're partnering with Open Fabric AI.
Good. So let's just throw this back to a question that we have in the comment section. People want to know more about the introduction. So the reason why we don't basically talked about the introduction, because on the screen, as you can see, these are people that behind both companies. We have the CEO of Open Fabric AI, Andrew Tara. We have Luke Martinez, the CEO and founder of Octavia. So usually we skip the introduction part because we don't want to bore people. So we just go straight into the conversation. You talked about the partnership. You gave your point of view. So let's hear from Andrew. Andrew, what do you think of that?
So I guess Luke managed to capture a very important use case and problem when it's about building AI application. You need resources to be available, but you don't want to bother and focus your resource and attention to build your own infrastructure that is serving and running your models. So as Luke has mentioned, essentially it makes a lot of sense for companies as Octavia to to be able to scale up fast, to make use of resource, to allocate, this is GPU power, what we call GPU. So utilize GPU to execute and run AI models as they need it. So of course, this makes a lot of sense because, as I mentioned, Octavia it's a very good example of an early use case and early company. It's not like just a use case, not like an example. Rather, it's a company who's building on top of a new wave. We think this is like a new wave of companies building new kind of application and utilizing new type of infrastructure. That is precisely what we're building with Open Fabric, and by decentralizing and simplifying the access. Because in a way, as a company or a developer, you don't have to get the entire complexity of running the full stack and having GPUs and do all that very complex management for yourself. Rather, you're focusing on your offering. So in this case, is Octavia the digital assistant, and of course, this is like a very very fruitful and very we think powerful synergies that we're building together.
Well, I want to believe that one of the key ways to succeed within the Web3 blockchain AI space is something that you need to establish some really good strategic partnership, people that complement what you're building and how you can complement them to build something, create solution to some of the pressing issue that we have right now. We talked about the partnership. Let's talk about the long-term plans, starting with you, Andrew. As the partnership progresses, how do Octavia and Open Fabric AI envision sharing resources and expertise to drive mutual growth and innovation within the crypto, Web3, and AI system ecosystem?
Yeah, so we're investigating deploying some of our models into the marketplace. We are working on for one of our products, which is it's kind of a sub product, is Octavia for token teams, and that's basically Discord moderation, Telegram moderation as an AI assistant for token teams to deploy in their groups. And one of the models involved in that is a abuse detection model. So it's basically a model that can detect misuse and obviously like anything that people don't that you wouldn't want to see in a Telegram group, like FUD and abuse and that kind of thing. So we want to offer that model on the Open Fabric marketplace. That'd be one of the future things we're looking at doing.
Interesting. That's a very good one. I guess we have a long, how do you call it, long-term plan for this partnership. Let's hear from you, Andrew. What are we thinking about?
Yes, so I guess as Luke mentioned, Octavia can build and deploy their own model, can test it, can even utilize the resource to to research, right? To research new model, to improve new model. Of course, and very specific use case that Luke just mentioned, to utilize this model for doing like moderation, like utilizing AI to do moderation in different conversation, like in Discord or maybe other social channel. It makes a lot of sense because it can leverage the execution power of Open Fabric, and it can bring like a very powerful use case to be useful for a lot of people. And I guess this is something very very powerful. Of course, beyond that, Octavia can also integrate and make use of other models that are already deployed on top of Open Fabric. So as Luke mentioned about stable diffusion, we already got like some stable diffusion model that you can utilize them just by connecting to them. You don't have to deploy yourself, you don't have to train yourself, you don't have to put all the effort which normally is there to make use of this model. So it's what we see currently is just the beginning. I guess we're going to see a lot of amazing things happening in this term.
Well, I'm certain that this partnership has really good potential. So speaking of deployment and integration, interoperability is crucial for expanding, the reach of crypto AI system. How well the partnership between Octavia and Open Fabric AI facilitate cross-platform integrations and enhancing user experience?
Yeah, so I think that the key thing that's going to enhance user experience is that the user experience is just going to be more more seamless, faster. So we're not having to load these models into memory when the occasional time they need to be used. And then we're also going to like allow other people to use certain models that we have in the marketplace. And I think that's just going to allow for more, I wouldn't call it interoperability, but it allows for more innovation in the ecosystem.
Before we come to you, Andre, let me just make a quick announcement. So usually what we do is that the last segment of this session, we allow question from the audience. So if you do have any follow-up question with Luke or Andre, or whatever both companies are building, please feel free to drop your question in the comment section, and our backstage team will bring that up us to us, and we can post to the speakers to answer them. And if you're just tuning in, this is enhancing crypto AI system through a Planetary-Scale network. This is a partnership between Octavia and Open Fabric AI. So we are talking about what the partnership entails and what are some of the benefits they bring to both ecosystems. So Andre, let's hear from you on that question.
So I guess when it's about building the future, because in a way we're building a technology that it's advancing, like advancing the field itself, the Web3 itself, right? So I guess when it's about thinking about the future, we just have this, beginning of a new type of innovation, of a new way of handling things, of a new way of providing new experience to the user, new functionality, new use case, new tools, right? So I guess we should start to see the Web3 and the crypto and the AI more synergetically working together in the future. So Octavia is a good example of such use case where people are utilizing very different technology like AI and blockchain. If you just have a conversation with somebody like a few years ago about merging like blockchain and AI, they say, okay, you're completely nutty. It cannot happen. It cannot work. But it seems that there's a lot of value where people normally don't see like things simply joining together. So I guess in terms of user experience, in terms of new use case, new functionalities, we're going to see a lot of these new amazing application as Octavia, putting things that normally do not fit together to create new innovation and in essence to provide new value. Because on the end of the day, it's not only about having fancy tools, it's about having tools that make value and make sense for the end users.
Awesome. So I'm just reading some of the questions from our Discord channel, and that's why I've been following. So we understand that partnership is very pivotal for a group within the space. But again, there are some challenges that comes along. Partnership can present challenges and opportunities. Obviously, we all know that. How does the collaboration between Octavia and Open Fabric AI leverage each company's strengths to overcome obstacles and stay ahead in the highly competitive crypto and AI market? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, both companies are very innovative. I don't think there's anyone doing exactly what Open Fabric is doing, and I don't think there is anyone doing what Octavia is doing, at least to the same level. So, I mean, we're both forging a path ahead, and innovation is like that, where it's kind of foggy. You can't always see what use cases the technologies you're building will even have in 3 months, because you'll realize that people are using them, or people are demanding that you make a slight change so they can use them in a specific way. So it's really about, at least I think for Open Fabric, it's about building the infrastructure, but for us it's also about building like the how do I explain it best? It's about building something that can be used broadly, and then people can use it however they like, and then we improve those things. So yeah, so staying ahead, I don't actually think will be too much of a challenge, because it's so new that I don't think anyone will come up to compete until they realize, wow, Open Fabric and Octavia and all these companies that have been innovating for the last little while, have actually done something really cool, and maybe we should try to compete. So we'll all be ahead by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's a very good one. So I'm just trying to read some of this question that are coming in. For now, this one is kind of a little bit distracting me.
Yeah, so
So,
what I would add to Luke, so I guess you're completely right. So, both companies, Open Fabric or Octavia, they're doing like this innovation from a long. For instance, we started, I mean, our idea started in 2019. We did a lot of research, we did a lot of hard work to actually make the protocol work, because having decentralized AI, it's far from trivial. Of course, I'm sure that some other people would try to explore this new technology and new way of building new application, new protocols. Of course, we're not stopping. I mean, we just started. We just build something amazing, and it's just the beginning. We're keep innovating. We'll keep growing. We'll keep building. So, but yeah, I feel that it's a completely new universe, unfolding on our you know with this new innovation like AI and combining with the blockchain. So I guess there will be a lot of very interesting, use cases, and of course, the technology will keep going and keep evolving. But the good thing is that we're kind of people that we are keep building, keep researching, because it's not only about building; it's about doing research. How you building things? What is the best way to combine these, new technologies? So yeah, being a pioneer, it's like a mission. It's something that you put on your shoulder, and you have to carry out and to push things further and further. So yeah.
good. That's a really good one. But then we talked about the partnership from the end user perspective. Let's go more into the community, the ecosystem. We talk about all the amazing benefits and the long term vision. Let's talk about the entire industry. Let's talk about our contribution, and we can start with you, Andrea, on this one. So, Open Fiber AI and Ortiva are both our pioneer players in the crypto and AI space. We all know that. Could you share some insights into how they plan to collaborate and innovate to achieve their common goals on a more global scale?
So I guess that we already covered some of the things in previous questions. Um, but what I think it makes in a way more sense on the long term, and building things together is just the beginning. We're pioneers. We're exploring a lot of new things, and this is very powerful because it gives us flexibility to experiment, as Luke mentioned, with different models, or to experiment with new way of deploying things, or scale up things, or even experiment with new use case, things that people maybe didn't thought about yet building. So I guess the biggest advantage in this is that we can explore. We have the luxury, I could call it. We have the luxury to explore new things, to build new things, and to see how good they're fitting together.
Awesome. So let's hear from you, Luke, on this one.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. Being able to iterate quickly and deploy, not just deploy but train, without having to build up our own resources, our own internal machines, will just allow us to more quickly innovate. We've been, for the past like 5 or 6 months, we've been like training models and then replacing those models, and they've existed for different purposes, of course. We're currently looking at building a model that helps us cite the sources that Octavia uses, because we have obviously all the source information and then the output. And basically what we want to do is we want to go from the source, the output, and say, based on this source information, where did this output come from? And then be able to cite the sources that Octavia use, because obviously having links back to the websites or to the blockchain or to BSC scan, Ether scan, that kind of thing, to give users reassurance that the information is correct, is something we want to be able to achieve. Now, there's a few different ways of doing that, and one of the ways is to build that back propagation model. So we will be able to iterate and experiment with how best to achieve that, and that's not just that one thing, but we'll be able to do that across a variety of use cases.
Good. That's a good one. So now, if you're just joining us again, this is another AMA session. We're talking about, our partnership with Octavia and what does it mean for both our ecosystem. Please feel free to drop your question in the comment section, and our backstage team will bring that wrap up to the speakers. We talked about, the collaborations and innovation that you guys hope to collaborate together on. One of the key selling points of crypto AI system is user privacy and data security. We all know that because you can have an assistant having access to all of the personal information. So how do Open Fabric AI and Octavia address these concerns in the approach, and especially when dealing with a sensitive financial data in the crypto world? Luke, you want to take this first?
Yeah, I mean it's a very complex question because it depends what we send to each model and each provider. I'll let you speak towards Open Fabric's approach to security, if you like,
Yeah,
Andre.
sure. So
Okay.
essentially, we designed our protocol with this particular challenge in mind, because in a way it's a challenge, and it's a problem that everyone who's been building or deploying a model, it's just not, it's like a natural question. So our approach to that is something we call trusted execution environment, which essentially is like a sandbox, ensuring that no one except the rightful owner have access to that particular execution environment. So essentially, if I'm a user and I've created my AI application instance, I'm the only person who can send or receive data from that specific execution environment.
Mm.
So we ensure that end user data is protected. At the same time, we are making sure that no one has access to the innovator, to the developer intellectual property, because while it's deployed on Open Fabric network, so the source, like the source of the AI application is encrypted. So it's get decrypted only while it's being executed inside the execution sandbox. So in a way, of course, if you want to find the specifics of that, if there are people very interested on how we're building that, we got a pretty extensive chapter in our white paper, very techy, very detailed about how we're securing and ensuring this kind of very important and very important from an end user perspective and also from a business perspective. So points. So yeah, definitely. If you want to find all the details, we got them in our white paper. But high level explain it works like that. So our trusted execution environment, it makes sure that everyone is protected, the innovator and also the end user.
Good. I mean, just to provide, just to add additional to what you just mentioned, and to provide more clarity to that, if you are worried about trust and security, what Octavia is building, we have an entire very good structured security system. As Andrew just mentioned, if you do need additional information, you can always visit our website and just download the white paper, that couple of information there that you can really grab and make use of. So we'll move to the next question. Uh, we have this one. Considering the Planetary-Scale network approach, how do Open Fabric AI and Octavia plan to manage network scalability to ensure smooth and efficient interactions with user, particularly during times of high demands? Andrew, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the long story short is that Open Fabric, it's a protocol that it's composed of three major things. So the first is something we call decentralized operating system, which essentially is like a computer operating system with the main difference that is managing the resources of a network of nodes. The second thing was the innovation that I was told you about before, like the trust execution environment. And the third one is something we call the ontology connection system. So, all these three elements are operating, are the core of our protocol. So essentially our protocol, it makes sure that it's scaling and balancing resources for different applications. So in a way, we have all the computational power, which is rented by the infrastructure provider. This is managed by the protocol. So the protocol itself take care of scalability, take care of balancing thing. It take care that essentially the end user experience is good, because people, and this is normal. End users do not care about how complex your technology is. If they don't have a good user experience, they won't use it. So in our case, we spend a lot of time and efforts to make sure that our technology provides a good user experience. Of course, in order for that to happen, we need also to make sure that the underlying technology can scale well, can provide output and feedback to the user in a way that they have a good experience. So I guess to wrap it up, our protocol is handling all those complex details. So essentially, an application like Octavia running on top of Open Fabric, or a model running on top of Open Fabric, as a developer, as a innovator of that model, you don't have to bother your mind with this kind of details. You're just building application, you pack it, you deploy it, and the protocol itself will take care for these very, very complicated, because these kind of details are very complicated. Because you can focus on the things you are good at, like building the application, building the things that bring value to the end user.
Interesting. That's a really good one. A very limited response to that. So let us hear from you, Luke.
Yeah. So I guess it really comes like that's a core of our partnership, is to basically allow us to smooth out those bumps, as I previously mentioned, which is, as Open Fabric basically runs on a market model, which allows, obviously, as prices go up, more users, more infrastructure will be added to the network, which will make the availability of the infrastructure higher, and obviously bring the prices back down. So that's basically the core of our partnership, is to allow us to maintain our own scalability, and make sure that it doesn't take 30 or 40 seconds for us to return an image to a user, or return a response to a user.
That's something that most people are in the audience right now, they are clapping too, because the fact that you have things that generate result for you instantly is something that everyone wants. Obviously, no one wants to waste the time sitting down alone. So let's move to the next question. This one is more from the community. Community involvement and engagement are pivotal for any successful crypto projects. We all know that. What strategies will Open Fabric AI and Octavia employ to actively involve the communities in development and decision-making process? Look.
Yeah. So at the core of who we are is to be community driven. Like, the only way we are going to be successful is if we can do the things that people ask Octavia to do. And so we're building that really wide base in terms of like basically building as many modules for Octavia, and those modules will be different things. One of them, the most basic one, is a stable diffusion module, and that module basically generates a prompt based on what the user wrote, based on the conversation history, and based on the memories relating to Octavia, and then creates and then runs stable diffusion. Another module is the ability to search the web. Another module is the ability to get information off the blockchain. So and then as we expand past that, it's important for us to follow what the community wants. What does the community want from those existing modules? Do they want more features on those, or do they want us to build out new modules, say the ability to connect to Twitter or something like that? the ability to send an email, or I can't even imagine what users want, to be honest. And that's why the VIA token, which we're launching, has governance features and will be directly, and VIA holders will be directly able to vote on future features and future modules that we'll be working on. So that's how we're going to make sure that we're innovating and always keeping the community involved.
Well, you hear that from Octavia founder. There are a couple of ways that they're going to implement to keep being involved. Now let's move to Andre. Andre, tell us more on that.
So I guess when it's about Web3, it's all about communities. It's about bringing people together to utilize your product to give you feedback, and in a way, by the feedback they provide you day by day, and by using your products and your protocol and your technology, all the things you're building, they get part in the decision making process, because in a way you're going to focus your resource as a company to build or to polish or to extend certain functionalities or certain features according to what people wish for to be using. So I guess community. I see community as also as a curator. I mean, essentially, since we're building like an open protocol, we let people to deploy their own model and to create their own application. Of course, we don't want to be gatekeeper. We don't want to enforce or tell people what to build. But at the same time, there should be a healthy way for to there should be a healthy way for getting feedback from the community. So community is not only like some passive. They're not passive like in other web 2 products. Rather, they're active. They participate on. They give you the hints about what you should decide to build next. They give you hints about the quality of certain products and application deploy on the protocol. So community actually is something very, very fundamental to the Web3 project. It's not like it's nice to have. It's fundamental, because having a decentralized protocol and having people involved in using that, and have a good community around that, it's something very, very important. So we think, and I guess most of the Web3 projects are listening to their community, and they're getting involved in their process and in their decision making. Maybe if not day by day, at a certain period of time.
Well, yeah, from both funders, they mentioned about ways that you are going to get involved, and there are ways that are already been implemented, and they are being a community-based company. So obviously, they are going to get you involved in all of the decision making and making sure that you are part of what they are building, which is something that everyone wants to be part of, even me. So let's move to the next question. Um, so now we talked about this part. We understand collaboration and partnership often play a crucial role in driving innovation. Are there any plans for Octavia and Open Fabric AI to collaborate with other projects or companies in the crypto space to expand their ecosystem?
Yeah, so we plan on offering models and modules of Octavia through the Open Fabric store, and that will basically allow anyone to make use of some of our technology. And some of our modules aren't really available anywhere else. The whole idea of being able to put in a Google search and then get back the answer to that question, that's not a module that's available anywhere, and we're hoping to be able to offer that through the Open Fabric. We'll see, depending on whether the trust execution environment can go outside that kind of thing. But maybe like put in a question and come back with a stable diffusion prompt, and then a stable diffusion image. So instead of having to create your own stable diffusion prompt from scratch, basically you can use our trained model that generates the stable diffusion prompt and then turns it into an image. So you don't have to be like this prompt engineer. There's so many different ways we're gonna be able to collaborate, to allow other people to collaborate with us without even us really having to know about it. I'll let Andre keep speaking about that.
Yes, that's definitely Andre. That's a very good point.
Yes, so essentially, as I know, maybe previously mentioned, maybe in other session with other partners. So we try to build bridges with other people. We think that, of course, we are focusing very much on executing and scaling AI technology, and of course, we want people to make use of that. So in a way, we try to connect multiple islands. So essentially, like a company, let's say like Octavia, is deploying the application on Open Fabric. Other people from other ecosystem can utilize that. So essentially, we are building bridges with other layer ones, letting other people from other ecosystem to make use of AI functionalities, and we actually build something very powerful. We let people to consume and execute AI application at a smart contract level. We build something we call the integration wizard, which is doing all the setup, preparing all the bridge contracts and things like that, where people from other chain will be able to call AI functionality from Open Fabric. So in a way, all the people who are building on top of Open Fabric or publishing like the application, they got the chance to have a massive exposure through all the partnership we are building with other project and other ecosystem. So in a way, by joining Open Fabric, it's like joining a new continent. The more people are joining, and the more partnership, the more connected it gets, the more better, and the more interesting synergies can grow out of that. So of course, we're still building the ecosystem and many partnership, and all the partnership we're building are actually they have a technical fundament. No, we're not just building partnership just to say we're building partnership. Rather, we have the tools. We already have integration wizard. We already have like this way of connecting together. So yeah, I guess by joining Open Fabric, you're joining a bigger family that is utilizing the state of the art technology that we currently have. So yeah.
Well, as Iwan, Andre, and Martinez just mentioned, it's more about being able to generate something. You don't have to be an expert. You can just be on top of the models and start creating something. So all you need is just your imagination. And as I just mentioned, it's like you're building the continent, and that means that you got to start from country, you got to start from region. So the more people that will have within a space, the bigger it gets. So make sure that your AI idea that you have written down somewhere, make sure you join both ecosystem. Let's move. This one is specifically for you, Martinez. In a world where various AI systems are already competing for user attention, what unique features or use cases does Octavia offer that set it apart from existing crypto AI system or even traditional AI-based products? Give it a shot.
So yeah, so platforms like I think platforms like ChatGPT are great. Like they have a use case that is excellent, and that's proven by their millions and millions of users. But the moment we ask ChatGPT a crypto-related question, it's not going to be able to fetch information from the blockchain or do any of those sort of things. So there's a space for a lot of different assistants doing a lot of different things. Octavia is obviously very focused on crypto, and we want to be the best crypto Web3 assistant there is. We call Octavia Web3 assistant, and that's very intentional because like that's what we are. In terms of other crypto assistants, I don't want to call any out specifically, but I see some of them that like I have a very good handle on who exists in the industry. And there's one that's a bit too expensive per request. It's about $1.50 per request. It's kind of overpriced in my opinion. And I don't think that's going to be successful. Information needs to be free. So information, it needs to be as affordable as possible, right? And then there's others that are there are others, but they don't have the same autonomous model that Octavia does, where Octavia can go out and choose the direction it goes, when what modules it activates, and how those modules interact with each other. So I think we're pretty set apart from the rest of the industry, and I think that this partnership will just allow us to scale a lot faster and really get even further ahead, honestly.
Okay, that's a very good one. You get from the Ortega CEO, Martinez. You already know what to expect and all of the big things that are coming from the end. So this one's for you specifically for you, Andre. We are seeing some latest developments and partnership within the open fiber AI ecosystem, such as Octavia and other partners to be announced. When should we expect in the last quarter of this year? What should we expect in the last quarter of this year? Any latest updates you would like to share with the audience?
So I guess the main thing about what we have in our mind, it's about keep building things, keep building partnership, keep joining, making people join our ecosystem, get them access to our technology. So in a way, it's about growing. It's like, okay, growing, in terms of like new partners, growing our community, and of course we are planning to launch our economy very soon. We're going to have some really good announcement in the next period. But of course, beyond that, it's about onboarding people. We already got a few hundred of early developers that just you know join our waiting list, keen to get access to our technology, keen to start building their own model to experiment, because AI is not just short term hype. Rather, it's the beginning of a new type of a new class of technology. But beyond that, it's beginning of a new type of economy. And I guess open fabric will play like a huge role on that side, on building this new type of economy where we leverage the power of AI and blockchain to create this powerful ecosystem. So yeah, I guess if you haven't joined our community, please join our community. You're going to see a lot of amazing things happening. We are working really hard and preparing some amazing things for you guys. I guess you already got to see in our Discord and Telegram some early bot integration, like in Discord, where you can create art from text, or you can create music from text, or even like a very very interesting QR code. So we're going to release more of this application as we're going to provide access to people for our protocol, for our marketplace. So just join our socials and stay tuned, because a lot of interesting and good things are happening here, and we're very happy to share it with you.
Good. That's a very good response from both CEOs, Andres and Martinez. So before we jump into the last segment, which is basically taking questions from the audience and bringing them up to you, we have roughly about 12 minutes to wrap this session. And I'm a big fan of time management, and I respect people's time. So I need your concern, Luke, Martinez, and Andre. We have approximately 11 questions, and we have like 10 to maximum 12 minutes to wrap this session up. Are you okay with answering all the questions in the comment section?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
let's do
Okay,
them quickly. But yeah,
let's do it. So now we're going to take questions from the audience. Let's see what we have for the very first one. Um, one sec. The very first question we have here: what are the benefits of using a planetary scale network for crypto AI system? I think this one is for you, Martinez. But Andrew can also add to that.
yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. It's about making sure that Octavia is fast to respond and isn't susceptible to large peaks in usage that slow it down. I think that's the quickest answer I can give.
Good. Andrew, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, I guess it's pretty we explained it pretty in detail in previous questions. So yeah, I guess look, cover it pretty well.
Good. So the next question, I hope the speakers answer your question. You asked the question about what are the benefits. Initially, they touched based on some of the benefits that the partnership brings. So if you missed that, just make sure you watch the recap. It's going to be on YouTube. We're going to publish it. Uh, the next question, how does the partnership with Octavia tend to benefit Open Fabric? This one is for you, Andre.
Yeah, so I guess the main benefit is that we're bringing a very powerful use case, a very interesting use case for people to use. I mean, in a way, uh, it's also about showcasing because and this is something very important. It's about showcasing a new class of products, a new class of value that can be bring to the world. And I guess Octavia is building something very unique in the space. I mean, like a Web3 system, it's something that, of course, we all need. It's definitely something that it's interesting, and I guess it's, as mentioned, it's something that we want people to showcase and show. Hey, look what amazing things we can build, by utilizing AI technology. Look and how we can tweak those and connect those that normally you don't think about, and how you can bring more value to the user. Because I guess this is the main point. We want to bring value to people. We want to bring value to users. We want people to have interesting tools and application to make use of.
Good. So yes, you heard that from Andre. It's more about creating values and bringing easy access to you. So there are a couple of a lot of benefits, and we cannot name everything on this IEMS session. But just know that some of the notable one will be having easy access to different tools from both Octavia and Open Fabric AI. Luke, if you want to add something to it, please go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question so I can answer?
How does the partnership with Octavia tend to benefit Open Fabric?
Yeah, I guess being able to act, us offering more models means that there's more opportunities for people to utilize the Open Fabric ecosystem on the Open Fabric store. There's also just the ability for us to it's hard for people to conceptualize what Open Fabric is achieving, like mentally, and as you mentioned, having something that goes, yeah, we're using Open Fabric and we're using it for this purpose, allows people to more easily understand what the product is about, because it's very tech heavy.
Yeah, that's a very good one. So the next question, I think this one is for you, Andre, specifically. How will Open Fabric be creating its own token?
So
Can
yeah,
you read it? Will Open Fabric be creating its own token?
okay. So basically, Open Fabric will have its native token because we are layer one. We are a new type of layer one. That we are focusing on scaling up artificial intelligence. So as a decentralized network, it cannot work without the underlying tokens. So basically, Open Fabric will have a native token that it will be used for doing all the economic transactions inside the ecosystem, and also as a technical token to make sure that we can do payments and start application and exchange value. So yeah, the long story, the long answer short is yes, we're going to have a token.
Awesome. The next question, how will Open Fabric and Octavia work together to enhance crypto AR assistant? Luke, this is for you.
Yeah, so it comes back to a lot of things we said earlier, but one of the key things we're going to be able to do is just iterate a lot faster, deploy, train, utilize the Open Fabric network of resources, the pool of resources, and something that I haven't mentioned earlier was some of the stuff we do with Octavia is post processing with the message. For example, if we need to, we have a memory system for Octavia, so Octavia is able to remember things across chats. So to do that, we basically have to post process your message and essentially say, do we need to save any of this to Octavia's memory, and do we need to recall? So doing that in times where the price of compute is low will allow us to better optimize Octavia's usage of resources. So there's so many benefits.
Okay, good. The next question here, what is Open Fabric and Octavia for okay, I think the question means what does Open Fabric and Octavia has for the member in future, and what should we be expecting from them? So they want to know more about expectation for members within both ecosystem. Who wants to go first? The last second, Max.
Yeah, I can.
Expectations for what? Sorry.
So it's like the question is, what is Open Fabric and Octavia for the members? So I'm trying to rephrase the question. I think the meant, what does Open Fabric and Octavia has for their members, and what are the future plans?
Okay. Would you like to go first?
Yes, please.
All right. So, well, we're building an AI assistant that everyone can use, and we're building it in public, and we're building it in such a way that is free for people to interact with. We're hoping to keep it free, and then monetize it through other means, and also monetize it through premium features where we do charge. So that's what like, and our partnership with OpenFabric just means that we can try to drive costs down when we need to drive them down. I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So that's a very good one. Andre, that's it for you.
Yeah, so I guess the main things, and for the end user and for the community and people utilize the technology we're building, is that if we provide them access to a new kind of tools, like in a way, I like to call it a super technology, like or exponential technology, because utilizing, and I guess we also like with ChatGPT, utilizing the AI technology, it's supercharged all the things you're doing. Utilizing like Octavia for as a crypto system, it will supercharge all activities. Let's say you're like a trader or you want to find also information about different things. So it's the main advantage by utilizing AI technology is that you can supercharge all the activities, and you can get like a uh, very powerful advantage. You get more productive. You get to solve problems faster. You get to make more, maybe if you're like a trader, to make more profit, or there's a lot of things that there are a lot of gain for the end user, while utilizing the AI technology. And we just saw like a very first use case with ChatGPT, and how people and a lot of businesses built around ChatGPT. So imagine how the future will look like, with a lot of people building on top of Open Fabric or utilizing Octavia for the things they're doing. So I guess there's a lot of gain for all user for making use of these powerful technologies.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I'll just say, just to add to that, the way I see it is um, things like ChatGPT, Octavia, these tools that people use make you 10 times faster. Even like Stable Diffusion, it makes you 10 times faster. And if you're 10 times faster than everyone else, then you're ahead. I imagine a world that in 15, 20 years, or maybe even five, everyone has like an earpiece in, and you can just chat to your AI, and so you can get that information you need to get instantly. So when you're between meetings, you can just find out what you need to find out while you're walking into the meeting, and then you just turn off the AI, and then you're having your conversation. So like that's how I imagine things will work. And so our goal is to make Octavia really fast, really good at responding to you, so we can build out the voice assistant, and then eventually build out like an not it won't be our earpiece, but it'll be like the ability to add Octavia to your earpiece.
Okay. So you hear that from both CEOs. They just talk about all of the amazing benefits that they have and potential futures. Luke just mentioned that. Let's move to the next question. This one is for you specifically, Andrew. What is the plan about Open Fabric at Token, and what your plans about it? Okay, I didn't get the last part, but I think you understand that.
Yeah, so essentially we're doing some final arrangement. We're preparing, the road to launching our tokens. So, of course, we're going to disclose that at the right moment. But of course, we want to launch our economy. We want to provide access to people. So, the tokens is one of the key parts in actually bootstrapping open fabric economy. But rest assured, we are doing very good progress, and in very in near future, we're going to make the relevant announcement and let all the people from our community find out about what will be like the next steps regarding our token. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to our channel, so you get informed and you get and you get the earliest information.
Well, yeah, that's from Andre. Make sure you follow up on our social media so you can be up to date with happenings within our community. So this one is again for you, Andre. What? Okay, when are we going to be able to use the tokens once it is created?
So I guess somehow this question is it's like connected to the previous one. So of course, once we launch our economy, people will be having access to the token. But of course, the real usage will be like in our mainnet. They still have access to the token. They still can trade it, stake it, and do all this normal operation that you do in any Web3 project. But during our mainnet, they will be able to make use of that to actually buy and utilize the token to pay for infrastructure, to pay for AI application usage, to do all these amazing features that our protocol enables. So yeah, I guess there's a lot of people really interested about our token. We are doing the final preparation, so rest assured, Open Fabric token is going to be live soon. Just make sure you follow our social channel, so be the first one to find out about these new important steps.
Good. Uh, so we go to this next question, and this we'll start with you, Luke. What does the member get to gain from the partnership?
Yeah, I mean we've talked about this all throughout, but we basically get access to the ability to deploy our not just Octavia onto OpenFabric, but to allow other people to access components of it to allow us to more smooth out some of our jumps in volume, so we don't have to build out so much infrastructure that just sits there being wasted. Because like we're buying up GPUs at the moment to run our models, and like that's not it's not always ideal. You don't always be running models that you're using infrequently, and you're not always you want to have an efficient distribution of resources. That's just the way things go. And if you're inefficient, then you're costing more money, you're spending more money, and you have to charge more. So the benefit is just making costs lower for us.
Good. Coming back to you, Andre, should we be expecting more about the AI in the Discord server because we only have AI Fabric and Sun Fabric for now. So should we be expecting more?
Yes, so we enable the art fabric. We enable the sound fabric, so essentially people can create like images or art from text. They can create music from text. We just enabled the QR code generator. So basically, you utilize a prompt and a link. So the AI will generate a very interesting and very fancy QR code. We're going to add more these use cases for our community because we want our community to be the earliest people to have access to our technology. So stay tuned because more and more applications we're going to be enabled in our Discord and also in our Telegram. So if you go on our Discord and our Telegram, you can interact with these bots because we created these bots, and you can create images, you can create music, you can create your own QR code, and we're going to add more of this application every week. So yeah.
Awesome. It's clear that there are things in the pipeline. So just keep following the social handles of Open Fabric, and you get more information on latest development. This one, we'll start with you, Luke. What are the legal and regulatory guidelines, and how will the organization monitor emerging regulatory consideration?
Yeah, so like it's important for us from a I'm trying to interpret the question the best I can, but I'm hoping I get it right. We obviously have a lot of responsibility under the GDPR and under regulatory guidelines to make sure that we are protecting users' privacy when they use Octavia. We're also responsible for. There's also guidelines around how we process data with AI specifically. Now, we have to, that's an opt-in thing. We outline that in our terms of service to make sure that we're that users are aware that, obviously, I know it seems obvious, but when you message Octavia, your message and the outcome of that message, the response, is obviously going to be generated by AI. So yeah, we're always staying on top of the regulatory environment. I don't think there are too many regulatory risks, provided we are on top of making sure that people are aware that Octavia it's possible for Octavia to generate false information. Obviously, that, like, making sure that's super rare, make sure that's more or less impossible, is like a big concern for us, a big a big what do you say it, focus of ours at the moment. And I think we've achieved a very high level of accuracy with Octavia that hasn't been seen elsewhere. If you were to ask Octavia to do something, and Octavia comes back with an answer, majority of the time, I'd say 99.5% of the time, the answer is 100% as the source material says it is.
Awesome.
So being able to cite our sources is going to help us make sure that users are confident. And if we're not able to cite a source, it's because the information is incorrect. And then we can kind of like create our own models to make sure that we're feeding correct information back to the user and like doing double checks. So yeah, that's how we're going to approach the regulatory and the making sure that things are accurate.
Good. We hear that from Octavia CEO himself. So let's move over to you, Andre. Will the new models from Octavia be accessible to us in Discord? I think this question is from our Discord community.
Yeah, so we can discuss about that, of course, if people are willing to, to make use of on Discord. So in a way, like Discord or Telegram is just a mean to deliver the information. The real innovation is the assistant itself. So I guess that can be find multiple delivering methods for the people to interact with it. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So usually what we do, Luz, before we end the session, we want the people in the audience to remember one thing from the session. So in 59 seconds, tell us, what is the takeaway you want people to grab from this entire session?
Yeah, so the partnership between Octavia and Open Fabric allows us to deliver a better service to users, and allows us to iterate and develop these models faster. It just means that we're going to be better at producing the product and also delivering the product to users. And the real takeaway I want to give people is that AI is going to make you 10 times faster, right? And if you're not using AI, you're going to be slower than the people who are. So eventually everyone needs to kind of get on board, because you need to take advantage of everything that exists out there, because, well, you don't want to be slower than everyone else, because you won't be making profit in this industry, really.
Totally agree with you. I mean, the AI that we have now is going to be 10 times faster in the next 10 to 5 years. So, Andre, let's hear from you. If the 9 seconds, tell the audience what exactly you wanted to grab from this session.
So I guess the key point that it would be interesting to be taken from this discussion is that Octavia and similar companies are building a new type of business. They are building new way of utilizing technology to solve problems that people didn't think of before. So I guess we should all prepare for a new wave, because in a way it's a new wave that's coming. It's a new wave of companies. It's a new wave of technology solving the problem that you didn't think of before, faster, cheaper than anyone else. So in a way, it's like a super upgrade that we're going to see not only to the companies but also to the economy itself. So I highly recommend it to be part of this wave, because it's a exponential one. It's going to upgrade and to enhance everything exponentially. And I guess it makes sense to be part of this amazing innovation and this amazing revolution, because it's something revolutionary. We didn't have too much happening in the technology for past couple of years, but now we have something that is, exponentially growing. You cannot foresee what will happen in not 1 year, but rather in 1 month. So it's amazing. It's amazing to be part of that.
Awesome. So you heard that from our both CEOs. We want to say to you, our guys from Octavia, Luke Martinez, thank you so much for sticking around and being part of this AMA session. And to you, our very own CEO, Andre Tara, we want to say thank you so much for your time. We understand that time is very pivotal. We took up your time, we took up Luke time. So for our people in the audience session, we want to say to you, thank you so much for sticking around. Feel free to visit Octavia on all social media, be part of the community, and also feel free to join our community and start experiencing some of the amazing things that we have already released. If you do have feedback for us, we dropped the survey in the comment section. Please feel free to give us as many feedback as possible. As Andres mentioned, we are building a customer-centric product for you. So we are building things that tailor towards the needs. So feel free to give us as many feedback as possible. And don't forget to follow them, our speakers. They are on social media. Get in touch with them. And let's build something incredible together. And thank you again, Luke
Thank
and
you very
Andre.
much.
Do have yourself a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.